Appeal Court blocks Federal High Court from interfering in Kano Emirate dispute. Tensions resurge in Jigawa communities as reprisal attacks leave multiple dead. INEC justifies 126 billion naira budget for 2025 despite limited activities. On the foreign scene, 1 killed, several injured in plane crash in Brazil. Hello and welcome to the News Hour tonight on Trust TV. I am Aisha Salihu. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, in a split decision of 2 justices to 1, the Court of Appeal in Abuja has barred the Federal High Court in Kano from adjudicating over the Kano Emirate legal battle. The appellate court held that the court has no jurisdiction to dabble into the Kano State chieftaincy matters on the ground that such a case can only be determined by the Kano High Court. Justice Gabriel Kolawole, who delivered the lead judgment, held that the Federal High Court has no business adjudicating over the chieftaincy matters, but ordered that the matter be returned to the Kano State High Court, being the proper court for such matters. The presiding justice, Mustafa Muhammad, and other justices agreed with Justice Kolawole that the Federal High Court has no jurisdiction to go into the Kano Emirate legal battle. Consequently, the 2 justices struck out the proceedings of the Federal High Court on the ground that it had no jurisdiction to have dabbled into the matter in the first instance. In the meantime, supporters of the 16th Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi II, have come out en masse celebrating the recent court judgment on the Kano Emirate tussle. It was gathered that the Court of Appeal in Abuja has struck out the 15th Emir of Kano, Aminu Ado Bayero, fundamental human rights case against the 16th Emir of Kano, Malam Muhammadu Sanusi II, for lacking in merit. The court rules that the issue of jurisdiction raised by the first respondent, Aminu Ado Bayero, is dismissed for lacking in merit. The appeal court decides that the Federal High Court had no business to dabble into the matter that relates to Kano State Emirate Council law. When the Emir came out at the Gidan Rumfa Palace on Friday, he was greeted to a rousing welcome by teeming supporters chanting praise songs and hailing the victory. And now we have Abba Hikima Esquire, who is a legal practitioner from Kano, to share more information on this particular development. Thank you so much for joining us on the News Hour tonight.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, it looks like we're starting off the year with somewhat a resolve, hopefully, on the issue of conflicting court orders with judges of different courts at the center of it. I mean, when it comes to judicial matters and delivering verdicts. But in this case, it's the Federal High Court in Kano and the Court of Appeal in Abuja. I'd like to hear from you. Kindly clarify the issue of jurisdiction for us here and what it means for this particular matter as it concerns Emirship Tussle in Kano.
Well, like you did mention, the Court of Appeal today in Abuja has clarified that the issue pending before the Federal High Court Kano is one that pertains or that touches principally on the Emirship Tussle, and that the Federal High Court does not have jurisdiction to delve into that activity. And if you remember very well before now, I have been featured here and elsewhere where we maintained that, yes, the Federal High Court does not have jurisdiction on Emirate Council tussle, but really, if there's an order of court, whether given rightly or wrongly, then that order must be obeyed. So what the Court of Appeal did today was to lift those injunctions earlier given. If you remember, there were injunctions and consequential injunctions saying that whatever was done pursuant to the order, pursuant to the Kano State Emirate Council Law 2024, have been put in abeyance and have been set aside. So that injunction has been lifted by the Court of Appeal today. And then on another hand, the Court of Appeal also struck out or rather invalidated the final judgment given by the Kano State High Court in favor of the Kano State government as well as the Emir Sanusi, in which Ado Bayero was restrained from parading himself as the emir, and in which also, Sanusi was reaffirmed. His enthronement was reaffirmed by the court. So the court also set aside that High Court decision on the basis that there were fundamental violations and fundamental violations of the right of fair hearing principles. And so the two judgments, as you can see, were nullified. And the Court of Appeal also asked and directed the Chief Judge of Kano State to redirect and reassign that case file to another judge to relitigate, rule on the matter afresh.
Now, you would agree with me that we have two parties here. I mean, we have the 15th Emir, who is Aminu Ado Bayero, and then the 16th Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi II. I'm just establishing this because do you think there is a chance that there could be another court order coming to somewhat maybe invalidate this that the appeal court in Abuja has stated? I mean,
what the court of appeal did, like we said, was that first it nullified the proceedings of the Kano State High Court, and also did held that Federal High Court does not have jurisdiction to delve into this matter. So we cannot go back to the Federal High Court again. Nobody can go back to the Federal High Court again because the court clearly does not have jurisdiction. But the case before the Kano State High Court is still pending, and people should be interested about the outcome of that case because the Kano State government was the one that filed that case, or at least the Kano State government was the appellant, if you remember. Okay. So Kano State government, the Emir Sanusi, and the Kano State House of Assembly are all interested parties in that suit, and the court has directed all the parties to resubmit themselves to litigation after this case must have been reassigned to another judge. So I think the end of that case is also something of interest in this regard. But as we speak, there is what we call presumption of correctness. The Kano State government has done something, and the Kano State House of Assembly also has done something. And what they did was to make a law, to promulgate a law. And the governor of Kano State has also appointed, an emir in Kano. So whatever was constituting some sort of impediment, was the Federal High Court order that said, stop parading yourself, or whatever was done in violation of my order has been set aside. That has been what has been restricting Emir Sanusi from taking an assumption, the full-blown powers, Right. That restrictions have been set aside right now by the Court of Appeal because the court does not have jurisdiction. So, but still you could say that because they have submitted themselves to the jurisdiction of Kano State High Court,
right,
the decision of which has been violated, there is need for all parties to go back to Kano State High Court and then to face the full-blown litigation, except that case is either withdrawn or perhaps, all the parties have done something like counterclaim. So much can actually happen right now. But as we speak, you could say that the Emir of Kano is Sanusi, Lamida Sanusi,
right,
with some reservations that, and chances that at the end of the litigation, which is to be started afresh right now in Kano State High Court, everything could happen, because he could come out of it, as a loser or as a winner.
Okay, thank you so much for clarifying all of that for us. So it means it remains to be seen. Maybe there's going to be some fresh application in the Kano State High Court and not the Federal High Court as it was earlier. We have been speaking with Abba Hikima, who is a legal practitioner, and he has done a number on clarifying the issue of the Kano Emirate tussle. Thank you so much for your time on the News Hour tonight.
You're welcome.
Still in Kano, former secretary to the Kano State government, Abdullahi Bafa Bichi, has threatened to unveil details about Governor Abba Yusuf and his political mentor, Rabiu Kwankwaso. Bichi said he had compromising documents, voice recordings, and videos that he would expose when the time is right. He spoke while addressing the public for the first time since being dismissed from his position, along with 5 other commissioners by the governor in December 2024. Addressing his supporters on Thursday, shortly after his return from Saudi Arabia, the former SSG promised to reveal the actions of his previous political allies.
I'm done with my work in good faith. Now is not the time to talk. There is a lot to see. There are many things written in audio and in video. God crossed our path with people that are not trustworthy. Time will come that we will bring things out for people to hear and understand who they are. They are not to be trusted. They don't know anything but deceit and betrayal. I thank the people of Bichi. You will hear from us in a short while, because what we want is to help people.
Away from that, and now to security matters, a deadly communal clash has erupted in Jigawa State, leaving a trail of death and destruction in Gidan Nagari, Jahun local government area. The incident, which occurred on Thursday night, comes barely a week after a similar clash in Gululu village in the same region. Eyewitnesses describe the chaos, with homes set ablaze and residents fleeing for their lives. Medical personnel at Jahun General Hospital confirmed 10 fatalities, including 9 men and 1 woman, with some victims burnt beyond recognition. An eyewitness, Bala Dangarba, revealed that the situation remains tense as grieving families prepare to bury the dead. He called on the Jigawa state government to take swift action to prevent further violence and bring the perpetrators to justice. The Jigawa State Police Command, through its spokesperson, Superintendent Shisu Lawan, confirmed the attack, attributing it to unidentified armed men. Police sources disclosed that security personnel have been deployed to the area to restore order. Now, the federal government of Nigeria has reinstated history as a subject in schools starting this year, 2025. This decision has been met with widespread support from secondary school teachers in Lagos State, who emphasize the importance of consistent educational policies for the benefit of students in national development. Victoria Tokolo's report is presented from our studio.
At the beginning of 2025, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration announced the return of history to primary and secondary school curricula, marking the end of a policy that removed the subject during former President Olusegun Obasanjo's tenure in 1999. Teachers have criticized that earlier decision, highlighting its negative impact on societal values and education standards. Speaking to Trust TV in Lagos, Olutoye Ayodele, a history and economics teacher in Agege, stressed the critical role history plays in shaping national consciousness and fostering understanding among citizens.
There are a lot of advantages that accrue to it. One of it is that the children of nowadays will be able to know the culture of their community, the culture of the nation, and they'll be able to know their past heroes. You will recall that history, what does this history do? Is to study the past what? Events that have taken place when they were not born, even when their forefathers are not born.
Senior secondary school students have also welcomed the reinstatement of history, expressing optimism about its benefits for their education and understanding of Nigeria's heritage.
While I was in junior school, we did not do history, and I cannot lie and say that it did not affect me, because there are many things I should know about my history that I do not know about because I was not taught.
I actually wasn't taught in junior school, but I feel it's a very good improvement to the curriculum, because there are a lot of things that students are supposed to know about their country and other countries that we were not taught at that time. But the fact that they're bringing it in, it helps the kids to be more improved, to be more enlightened on things that they're supposed to know, things that they are meant to know as students or as citizens of a state or a country or other countries at large.
History education is widely regarded as a tool for promoting cultural awareness and interpersonal understanding. Teachers urged the federal government to ensure consistency in implementing this policy to maximize its positive impact on the nation's youth.
But when you don't have a consistent policy, today one government come and tomorrow the government jettison that policy and introduce its own policy, it's not going to augur well for the development of the country. So my advice for this is that government must be consistent in their work policy. If they do it, it's going to help the nation. It's going to develop this country.
The reintroduction of history into school curricula is seen as a step toward strengthening national identity and fostering respect for culture and tradition. By understanding their roots, young Nigerians are better positioned to contribute to a united and progressive society.
Access to reliable internet facilities in Nigerian tertiary institutions is increasingly seen as essential for academic success and meaningful research. Recognizing this, the Nigeria Association of Polytechnic Students recently partnered an indigenous internet service provider in Ibadan to explore ways to enhance internet connectivity for students nationwide. The report.
Access to affordable and reliable internet remains a major challenge in many Nigerian tertiary institutions. This lack of connectivity has stifled students' ability to access online resources, conduct in-depth research, and complete digital assignments. Without these tools, students are at disadvantage in a world increasingly reliant on technology. In a bid to address these challenges, NAPS has taken the first step with the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding with Internet Development Partners. This pilot initiative aims to provide internet access within campuses across the country.
It's no longer a news that students are facing difficulty to access wireless internet facility while on campus, the one that stay close to the campuses. Students do pay for IT, internet, without enjoying the benefit.
The organizers of the initiative expressed optimism, emphasizing their commitment to seeing the project through to fruition and equipping Nigerian students for the digital age.
The facility we are providing is going to be unlimited, majorly over 18 hours a day, and cover all the polytechnics in Nigeria. It is cheaper and it's affordable, and is unlimited and is always available. We are going to augment the service with UPS, solar, inverter, so it's going to be available at the time they need it, majorly.
This wireless facility will also enhance teaching and research, and we also help the students to broaden their intellectual horizon more.
A cross-section of students shared their struggles with inadequate internet access and urged the government to act swiftly by establishing internet hubs across campuses.
We lack some amenities in which it will help us to dig more in our work. Okay. So I think, and I'm very sure in some department as well, they will definitely need it in research, in making their work easier. And I think we will be glad if we all work on the internet.
Laptops and phones, in order to do all this research, most of all these researches, they take a lot of data. They take a lot because you have to download files, you have to download resources from the internet. So this initiative is going to really help because there will be no restriction, there will be no instance of, hey, data has finished or anything like that. So my research will be seamless and effortless.
While progress is being made, much work remains to ensure that every Nigerian student can access affordable, reliable internet facilities. Bridging this gap will be critical for fostering a digitally inclusive academic environment.
Still in the southwest region of the country, students of Kwara State Polytechnic have taken to the streets of Ilorin, protesting their exclusion from the ongoing National Youth Service Corps scheme. They are calling on the federal government to reverse the policy, citing the hardship and uncertainty it has caused in their lives. The report.
The affected students, alongside their counterparts from the Federal Polytechnic Offa, marched through Ahmadu Bello Way in Ilorin, waving placards and chanting solidarity songs. They decried their non-mobilization for the second stream of Batch C registration, saying the situation has stalled their careers and left them in limbo. Speaking during the protest, Adelowo Tofunmi Busayo urged the federal government to reconsider the policy. He likened it to the reversal of the 18-year entry age requirement for the tertiary institutions, emphasizing that the decision was necessary to secure their future amidst economic hardship. Another affected student, Kehinde Tanimola, shared his frustration, revealing that he has been unable to secure employment since graduating 3 years ago due to the absence of an NYSC certificate. This situation has pushed many of us into depression, he said, adding that the certificate is a non-negotiable requirement for the most employers.
This is just like a nightmare to us. We are not aware, we do not have any notification about this. So we are here to show our grievances that this thing is an injustice. It's an injustice, and we are begging, we are pleading, both the FEC, the Federal Executive Council, the Director General of NYSC, to please help us. We are the future of Nigeria.
When we tarry in town doing nothing, it will become a something else. And we are educated. They trained us in professions, in various professions, and today we are just pleading. They should just see into this, and we will be happy to hear good news one day.
In response, Mrs. Adewuyi Omolabake, representing the state NYSC coordinator, assured the protesters that their grievance would be forwarded to the appropriate authorities.
All this thing you have told us this morning, if we package it, it will be better for us so that we have something to submit at the appropriate order. In view of that, we want to appreciate everybody that came out for this. And we want to assure you that we are not going to kill whatever you submit to us. We'll forward it to the appropriate quota.
The students issued a 24 hours ultimatum to resolve the matter, warning that failure to act would prompt further actions.
In other news, Senator John Azuta Mbata has been elected as the 13th President General of Ohaneze Ndibo Worldwide, a prominent Igbo socio-cultural organization. This development occurred during the election of new executives in Enugu on Friday, where Azuta Mbata was elected as the new leader, succeeding Fidelis Chukwu, whose tenure has ended. Notably, Azuta Mbata hails from Rivers State in South Nigeria, marking a significant milestone in the organization's history. The election process was conducted via voice voting, and alongside Azuta Mbata, 15 other individuals were elected to various executive positions within the organization. As a former senator, Azuta Mbata brings a wealth of experience to his new role, having served as a senator for the Rivers East constituency from 1999 to 2007. Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State has approved the appointment of Prince Abimbola Owode as the new Alaafin of Oyo. The development comes 2 years after the death of Obalamidi Adeyemi, former occupier of the throne, and the crisis that trailed appointment of his successor. In a statement on Friday, Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Dotun Oyelade, said the governor had consented to the appointment of a new king, whom he said was chosen after extensive consultations and traditional divinations conducted by the Oyo kingmakers, the Oyo Messi. The commissioner prayed that his reign would bring peace, prosperity, and unity to the historic Oyo kingdom. He said the announcement ends the legal and social disputes that followed the passing of the former Alaafin Obalamidi Adeyemi III, who died on April 22, 2022. Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Honorable Ademola Ojo, urged the people of Oyo to lend their support to the new Alaafin. Governor Umo Eno of Akwa Ibom State has dissolved his cabinet, saying he needs to bring new persons on board. Speaking during a valedictory session at the Exco Chamber on Friday, Eno said none of the commissioners underperformed. The governor, who stated that though all of them delivered on their responsibilities, said they have to go for a new set of professionals to be brought into the government. He said the valedictory dinner will be held on Friday evening at the Banquet Hall, Government House, Uyo, in honor of the outgone Exco members. Most of the commissioners have been in office for almost 10 years, as some of them served under former Governor Udom Emmanuel. Still in the South-South region of the country, the Martin Amaewhule-led Rivers State House of Assembly has vetoed Governor Siminalayi Fubara passed 3 critical bills into law. Led by Martin Amaewhule, the Assembly cited Section 100 subsection 5 of the 1999 Constitution as amended as a legal basis for its action, emphasizing that the move was in the best interest of the people of Rivers State. The report.
The bills in question are the Rivers State Education Amendment Bill, the Rivers State Electricity Market Bill, the Rivers State Commissions of Inquiry Bill 2024. The Assembly revealed that the bills has been transmitted to Governor Fubara over a month ago without receiving his assent. During deliberations, the Majority Leader, Major Jack, reintroduced the bills for debate, with members unanimously voting to override the Governor's vote. Speaker Martin Amaewhule, referencing Section 105 of the Constitution, stressed the Assembly's authority to act when the Governor withholds his assent.
The bill shall become law, and the assent of the Governor shall not be required anymore. Mr. Speaker, is a ground law.
So I urge this House to support the passing of this bill, since the Governor did not respond to our plea for him to sign it.
In a strong rebuke, Amaewhule criticized Governor Fubara's attitude, accusing him of attempting to undermine the Constitution and obstruct the legislative process.
A bill for a law to amend the Rivers State Education Return of Schools Amendment Law No. 1 of 2005 and other matters connected thereto is again passed and is now law for Rivers State in line with Section 100, subsection 5 of the 1999 Constitution as amended.
The Speaker described the Governor's action as unbecoming, stating that no individual, regardless of their position, is above the Constitution of the laws of the state.
But members of the 10th Assembly, I want to commend you for standing firm, for standing true to our Constitution, to our laws, for standing by the mandate that the good people of Rivers State has bestowed on all of us. We believe in this our democracy. We will not be part of those who will truncate this democracy.
Amaewhule reaffirmed the Assembly's commitment to upholding democratic principles and ensuring governance remains accountable to the people.
The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, has disclosed that the commission requires 126 billion naira to run its operations in 2025. This figure significantly exceeds the 40 billion naira allocated to it in the 2024 budget proposal submitted to the National Assembly. Professor Yakubu revealed this during INEC's budget defense before the Joint Committee on Electoral Matters of the Senate and House of Representatives. He emphasized that conducting elections in Nigeria has become increasingly costly due to the numerous off-cycle elections held throughout the year. The chairman of the House Committee on Electoral Matters, Representative Bayo Balogun, commended INEC for effectively utilizing its limited resources and achieving notable results. He stressed the need for adequate funding to ensure the Commission's independence and effectiveness. Senator Ireti Kingibe and Representative Paul Kalejai, members of the committees, echoed the call for sufficient funding, emphasizing its importance in enabling INEC to fulfill its mandate successfully.
A total of 40 billion was appropriated for the Commission in 2024. Distinguished senators, honorable members may recall that we complained exactly a year ago when we appeared before the Joint Committee that this amount was only enough to pay consolidated salaries and other allowances, as well as social contributions, and nothing beyond that. And you asked us, what else were we going to propose? And then we told you that what we required at that time was well over 80 billion, and we gave a detailed breakdown of the 80 billion.
And they will go and ask for support, please assist us. And to make INEC really independent, we should ensure that they get their budgetary requirements so that they will not be tempted to go hand in cap to meet cap in hand to meet the local government chairman or the governors at the state level.
But INEC has to be independent. INEC cannot be independent. And anyway, really, I feel that is a no-brainer. Whatever the committee has to do to get the funding, all these things are constitutional. They must be done. So it is how we get them. That's the issue. It's not whether we are going to get the funding. We must get the funding.
It's clear to all of us that we're just running a very dangerous system. And the Electoral Commission is about all of us because we are all affected. We are participants in these elections. And we have practical knowledge and experience of what goes on the field.
Now to matters concerning the fight against corruption, Nigerian government has received $52.88 million recovered Galactica assets linked to former Minister of Petroleum Diezani Alison Madueke from the United States of America. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi disclosed this at the formal signing ceremony of the asset agreement between Nigeria and the United States of America in Abuja on Friday. Delivering his remarks, Fagbemi explained that $50 million of the recovered assets will be deployed through the World Bank to the development of the rural electrification project, and the remaining $2 million will be deployed to the International Institute of Justice to expand the justice system and also counter corruption. Speaking further, Fagbemi noted that the asset return marks a milestone in the ongoing collaboration between Nigeria and the United States in combating corruption and upholding the rule of law. And now moving on to other stories. The Kaduna State Police Command has pledged to address complaints of sexual and gender-based violence, extortion, harassment, and other human rights violations raised by community stakeholders in Jamal local government area of Kaduna State. The promise was made during an interactive session organized by Global Peace Development and the International Alert under the Mutual Accountability Project. The event, held at the Women and Girls Safe Space Center in Goska, brought together representatives of Gidanwaya, Goska, and Dangoma communities, including village heads, women and youth leaders and community organizations. The spokesperson for the Kaduna State Police Command, DSP Mansur Hassan, assured participants of the command's commitment to investigating the issues raised and restoring public trust in the police. He urged residents to report any acts of misconduct by officers, while also emphasizing the importance of collaboration between law enforcement and the public to promote community policing.
All actions, definitely almost the action will be taken, particularly when it comes to that issue of gender-based violence and issue of harassment, extortions, and maybe, you see, definitely action will be taken.
So like the project is actually a multi-category intervention under the Nigerian Police Reform Initiative 2, which is intended to amplify the Nigerian Police Act 2020, in particularly ensuring there's communal security communal knowledge sharing, collaboration, and relationship strengthening with the Nigerian police force. Because citizens, when they collaborate with Nigerian police effectively, will ensure there will be public safety.
This meeting today has really helped me. I now know my rights. I know who is a policeman. Before I was afraid of a policeman. I cannot go and meet him directly. But now they have told us that a policeman is our friend and we can meet them. Anytime we have case, we should call them directly or we'll go and meet them. And they will really they will really solve our problem.
Actually, this engagement has really changed my narrative that I normally see the police with. I never knew that the police is my friend. I normally hear it, police is your friend, police is your friend. Not coming to today that the PPRO himself explained everything about the police. The eye people normally see them is no more.
At least 2 officers were killed when Boko Haram insurgents bombed Nganzai Divisional Police Headquarters in Borno State on Thursday. The insurgents struck a few days after attacking an army formation in Borno, killing an unspecified number of soldiers. The defense headquarters had said it lost 6 personnel in the attack on the formation but killed 34 terrorists. However, in the police station attack, officers identified as Inspector Bartolome Kalawa and Corporal Mustafa Huzaifa were murdered. Reacting, the Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun ordered an immediate clampdown on the perpetrators of the attack. The force public relations officer ACP Olumuyiwa Adejobi said this in a statement on Friday in Abuja. Adejobi said the IG had directed the Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 15 to mobilize adequate resources and personnel to fish out the perpetrators. Still on security matters, a notorious bandit leader, Bako Bako, along with his fighters, were neutralized on Thursday by joint security forces in a clearance operation conducted on Batsari Forest in Batsari local government area of Kaduna State. Security sources said the operation was meticulously planned and executed by the troops of the Nigerian Army, the police, the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, and the Kaduna Security Watch Corps, with troops advancing into the bandit stronghold under the cover of dusk. In a fierce gun battle, Bako Bako and his men were overwhelmed by the superior firepower and strategy of the combined forces. Bako Bako, who was responsible for violent attacks and kidnappings that terrorized a number of communities in Kaduna State, had for a while been in the crosshairs of security agencies in the state. His death, according to a local community leader in Batsari local government area, is considered a major success in efforts to tackle banditry in the area. Now, the Ogun State Police Command has arrested a 25-year-old suspected cultist in possession of firearms around Olambe Akute Road in the Ifo local government area of the state. The State Police Public Relations Officer Omolola Odutola disclosed this in a statement issued in Abeokuta, the state capital. According to her, the suspect, Abiodun John, is the leader of the Alora cult, with a firearm found in his possession during a routine search inside the vehicle he was driving at the time of his arrest. She said during the search of the vehicle, 2 locally made pistols and 3 live cartridges were discovered in his possession. Lagos State government has raided many streets and seized several goods within the state. Disclosing this on social media, the State Commissioner for Environment and Water Resources, Tokunbo Wahab, said the enforcement teams conducted operations across key areas in and around the island to enforce compliance with environmental regulations and ensure streets remain clean and safe. He said the affected areas includes the link bridge at Yana Iworo to Victoria Island's busy streets, including Ido Martins, Amadu Bello Way, Ligali Ayorinde, and more. The commissioner said government remains committed to maintaining a cleaner Lagos. Now, the need for the insurance industry to introduce flexible payment plans like monthly, quarterly, yearly installments for Nigerians has been advocated. An insurance expert, Onibokun Wenga, who stated this, also said this will enable more vehicle owners to register for insurance. The report.
The Nigerian insurance industry, with motor insurance contributing a significant 114.8 billion to its over 1 trillion naira premium, holds vast untapped potential. Despite this, only 25% of vehicles on Nigerian roads were insured in 2024. Several factors, including inflation, fuel subsidy removal, currency depreciation, and the recent increase in compulsory third-party liability premiums from 5,000 naira to 15,000 naira, have deterred many from insuring their vehicles. Insurance experts believe that personalized customers' engagement is key to driving growth.
You don't pay on the vehicle that you parked inside. You pay on the day you want to use the vehicle. That one is not common in this part of the world, but it's gradually coming in or coming up. So if my vehicle is not going out, I don't need to have insurance on it. So, but if I know that I will use the vehicle over the weekend, probably Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, then I will take insurance for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So there is a way they calculate the premium that it will not be so much telling on my pocket.
Vehicle owners and drivers expressed concerns about the high cost of premiums and the perceived lack of customer centricity from insurance companies.
The most confusing aspect of insurance in Nigeria is that people that do insurance, they don't explain to people in detail what insurance is involved. Because insurance, as we understand, we have different type of insurance. They have a level that each type of insurance cover.
A lot of people are considering that for the fact that if you are paying for comprehensive insurance, and sometimes if your vehicle happens to have some accidents, the times it takes for them to do the ratification for you to get whatever thing they are going to pay you, it takes a lot of time. So
we are logistics, but we have to do it because it's very, very important to us. And when we know how it is, we cannot work for many companies to do your logistics.
Benga also believes that insurers can leverage data to offer personalized policy and improve customer experience through timely renewal notices and efficient claims processes.
And the insurance company as well should improve customers' experience. What I mean by customers' experience is that if the customer needs an information about the policy he has taken, they should be prompt at reacting to the request. So then should there be a claim as well? They should, as a matter of urgency, attend to that claim.
By implementing flexible payment options, collaborating with authorities and prioritizing customer satisfaction, the insurance company can significantly increase motor insurance penetration in Nigeria.
In health, Borno State Commissioner of Health, Professor Baba Malam Gana, has announced that the state is currently free from cholera outbreaks with no recorded cases in its health facilities. This follows the successful vaccination of over 1 million residents. In an exclusive interview with Trust TV, Professor Baba Malam Gana assured that the state is well prepared to address any potential outbreak. 5 isolation centers across the state are now fully equipped with trained personnel to manage infectious diseases effectively. This proactive approach follows global health concerns, including the recent discovery of human metapneumovirus in China. The commissioner highlighted lessons learned during the peak of COVID-19 and the cholera outbreak triggered by September floods, which devastated communities and claimed lives. These experiences prompted the government to establish mechanisms for outbreak prevention and containment.
In fact, we are just running the place to just offer skeletal services as of now, so that people in that community can come in even if they've got, malaria or whatever, so that they can be treated, they can be seen. But we're taking it over with a view that if and when we have, outbreak of infectious diseases, then we can be able to use that center. So that is in terms of the infrastructure. That is not alone. As you know, we've had cholera outbreak previously after the flooding, but we were prepared for cholera. We had centers that were, were receiving patients with cholera, and we had staff who were trained to look after cholera, and we had equipments to look after cholera. These equipments include, like cholera, you lose a lot of fluid, and that's why it kills very rapidly. So we have facilities, we have the intravenous fluids to give to such patients so that they can be able to recover.
In business, the coalition of northern groups and civil society organizations have rejected the proposed tax reform bills sent to the National Assembly by President Bola Tinubu for legislative approval, stating that the bill and other related policies will deepen economic hardship, marginalize regions, and undermine national unity. Speaking at a town hall meeting on Thursday in Kaduna, the groups emphasized the need for equitable, inclusive, and people-centered reforms that prioritize sustainable development and the well-being of all Nigerians. The town hall meeting provided a platform for robust deliberations on the theme "Tax Reform Bills, a Catalyst for Economic Growth or a Burden on the People." It brought together a cross-section of policymakers, academics, civil society actors, community leaders, youth groups, and concerned citizens to deliberate on the implications of the proposed tax reform bills. Participants expressed profound concerns over the potential socio-economic consequences of the reforms, highlighting the heavy burden they may impose on already struggling citizens and business in the northern region due to the introduction of some economic policies by the President Bola Tinubu administration. Up next is Yusuf Akogu with the business update.
Welcome to Stock Market Update. I am Yusuf Akogu. NGX closed the week in red as profit taking hit insurance and other key sectors. Index declined by 79 basis points to close at 0.8%. The key drivers today is Suno Assurance. Suno Assurance down 9.99% to close at 7 naira and 30 kobo per share. UNICEF also down as well 9.96% to close at 17 naira and 35 kobo per share. Sky Aviation closed negative 9.87% to close at 30 naira and 15 kobo per share. This has pushed down the index downward by 0.08%. 1.48 billion volume of shares were traded, valued at 19.39 billion naira in a list of 12,877 did exchanges among investors. The top gainers from today's trading, CILC closed positive 10% to close at 4 naira and 51 kobo per share. Honey Flower also ended on the positive side of the market, 9.99% to close at 10 naira and 2 kobo per share. Trans Express also closed positive, 9.89% to close at 2 naira per share there. The top trading equities by volume, we have Wema Bank Nigeria PLC, 976 million shares traded. Tantalizer PLC, 52.9 million shares. Of course, Universal Insurance PLC, 34.8 million shares traded as well. Let's see the global stock market and exchange rate data for today. And that's stock market update for today. I am Yusuf Akogu.
Thank you, Yusuf Akogu. Now, on the foreign scene, a small plane went off the runway and exploded in Ubatuba on Sao Paulo's coast on Thursday, killing the pilot. 4 other people, a couple and 2 children, survived the crash. According to Sao Paulo military firefighters, all 4 survivors were taken to the hospital, conscious and in stable condition. Security footage showed the aircraft, a Cessna 525, leaving the airfield, crossing the street that borders the beach and leaving a trail of fire until it stopped by the water. The Brazilian Air Force released a statement saying that the Center for the Investigation and Prevention of Aeronautical Accidents was called to the scene to collect and confirm data, preserve elements, and initially check for damage to the aircraft, among other information. Now, scientists say the world must find rapid solutions as global temperatures are now on the brink of passing the crucial 1.5 degrees Celsius warming limit. According to Copernicus Climate Change Service, 2024 was the warmest year on record and the first calendar year where the global temperature exceeded 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. The limit set by the Paris Agreement refers to temperature anomalies averaged over at least 20 years. Though this has not been broken, experts warn that data, however, underscores that global temperatures are now rising beyond what modern humans have ever experienced before. It's time now for the sports news with Emmanuel Fashemi.
The National Sports Commission (NYSC) has approved immediate posting of Secretary Generals as the election of many sport federations draws closer. This is according to a circular signed by Deputy Director of NYSC, Kano Emirate. The circular instructed the Federation Establishment and Appointment Department to ensure compliance with the posting directives. Affected officers are required to report to the Director of Human Resources Management without delay. The NYSC stressed the urgency of the directive, warning that failure to adhere to the posting instructions will contravene public service rules and attract appropriate sanctions. The directive underscores the Commission's commitment to ensuring the smooth functioning of sports federations nationwide, though some of the secretaries maintained their positions with same federation while some are transferred from one federation to another as campaign for elections of sports federations loom. The International Paralympic Committee (IPC) has banned Nigerian para-powerlifter Khalifat Al-Maruf for a period of 3 years for an anti-doping rule violation (ADRV) offense in breach of the IPC anti-doping code. Al-Maruf returned an adverse analytic finding (AAF) for the administration of an anabolic agent in a urine sample provided out of competition test on July 11, 2024. She was provisionally suspended by the IPC on 19th August 2024, pending a resolution of her case. Al-Maruf's urine sample was analyzed using a specialized type of analysis known as gas chromatographic combustion isotope ratio mass spectrometry (GCCIRMS) that differentiates between anabolic androgenic steroids (AAS) naturally produced by the body and prohibited anabolic agents of external origin. The GC/CIRMS analysis confirmed the presence of an anabolic agent of exogenous origin in Al-Maruf's urine sample. Exogenous anabolic steroids are included on the World Anti-Doping Agency WADA 2024 prohibited list under the class 1.1 anabolic androgenic steroids (AS) and are prohibited at all times. The athlete was provisionally suspended by the IPC on 19th August 2024, pending a resolution of her case. The athlete accepted the commission of the ADRV and the consequences proposed by the IPC. As a result of her violation, the athlete will be ineligible for competition and other sporting activities for 3 years from August 19, 2024 to August 18, 2027. All results obtained by the athlete from the date the sample was collected 11 July 2024 until the commencement of the provisional suspension 19th August 2024 are also disqualified applied with all resulting consequences, including forfeiture of any medals, points, and prizes. And that is what I am Emmanuel Fashimi.
For you on the news hour tonight from our team here in Abuja and other parts of the country. Remember, you can always follow us across all of our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs and documentary. I am Aisha Salihu. Thank you so much for your time. Have a good night.